If you're talking to yourself?
Four people signed up to talk, and of course we know others want to. We're kind of inclined to
Go ahead.
hear the others first,
Let's do it.
and then come back to that. Do you feel
Yeah. So we're going to start with kicks. So you want to start with kicks?
Well, to start with that, but then I'll get up and we'll start with that no matter what.
Hey, Denise. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone. We now have a quorum, and we will begin the meeting of the Oklahoma City Arts Commission for August 22nd, 2025. Before the commission votes on each item, I will ask staff to provide details for each one. I will ask if the applicant has anything to add to the conversation, and I also will ask if any members of the public wish to speak. If you wish to address the Arts Commission, you will be recognized. Please go to the central podium and state your name and address for the record, and begin your comments. We do limit comments to no more than 3 minutes. So the first item on our agenda is to receive the meeting minutes from the June 16th meeting. So the motion will be just to receive those minutes. They're in your packet. And I would take a motion in a second. I need a second. Okay, and now please vote in PrimeGov.
May I do a voice vote? I vote yes. My ability to vote, the vote choice is not coming up on my.
Uh-oh. Robbie, we may need some computer help.
We can do a voice vote.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Aye. Well, I moved it, so I can vote
Okay.
for it.
okay. Cooper, aye. Is that Duong? Is that aye?
Aye.
Okay.
And the motion is approved. Okay, now we're going to move on to items for discussion. I will ask Randy Marks to come up and kick us off. Start us off.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So the first item on the agenda is KIC 66, the Maps for Beautification project for Route 66. What I want to do, though, is I want to request that there be a motion to move this a little bit further down the agenda for this reason. We have a number of people that are here wanting to talk, and we want to hear everybody that wants to talk. So far, when I came in a few minutes ago, 12 people had signed up. Each of them is going to have up to 3 minutes. We know that various other people will want to also be able to talk also. We don't want to cut anybody short. We have these next 3 items on the agenda that are somewhat urgent to move ahead. The meeting talking about Route 66 could go on for quite some time, and we could possibly lose quorum in that period of time. So for that reason, I would like for there to be a motion to proceed to item 3B, and then after item 3D, we'll come back to 3A, giving us wide open time to talk. This should take approximately 15 minutes to go through. So we hope that nobody will find this to be a burden. Also, for those who haven't been here to Arts Commission before, it'll be a really quick primer in how we do business. So I request that that motion be made.
Okay. I need a motion and a second, please, to move the KICS item to later in the agenda. Okay, now I need a vote on PrimeGov. And the motion is passed. So, Randy, you're still on point for 3B, people watching.
Okay, I'm going to navigate to, well, let's see.
Oh,
What do I need to do here, Keith?
Still only need to go a little further.
let's see it.
Okay, cool. What did you turn that to? I did it again. So, and do I need to use the roller?
That's the right click, so if you just click anywhere else to the left click, it'll take that away.
Okay. Okay, well, you got a little preview of item 3A there, but we'll go on to item 3B. People watching by Matthew Mazzota, and his company is called Social Space. Matthew is a professor at MIT and also a public artist, does work all over the country. This particular project is for Lower Scissortail Park. And here you see in the red circle, looking at Lower Scissortail Park to the left of the screen, Overlook Hill, and right below Overlook Hill is the area called Songbird Plaza. And this is the designated spot for the work by Matthew. titled People Watching. So what Matthew is doing is he's turning the idea of bird watching on its head, and he is proposing very, very large birds for Lower Scissortail Park. 2 of them, in fact, and of course these are scissortails, and they're each about 12 feet, approximately 12 feet in length, on posts that are 15 feet tall. Matthew says this about himself: he works at the intersection of art, activism, urbanism, focusing on the power of the built environment to shape our relationships and experiences. His community-specific projects integrate new forms of civic participation and social engagement into the built environment. People Watching is a story of traversing the entirety of Lower Scissortail Park while connecting to its wildlife and natural landscapes. The city has the beautiful balance of urban, rural, and wild. However, it's not common to have all of these in one location. And if you've been in Lower Scissortail Park, you know that it is far less activated than Upper Park is, and there's much more naturalistic space, taller, older trees, and a more natural environment. Taking advantage of the location, one end of a linear park that is both pedestrian paths and a vehicle corridor, the oversized scissortails stand tall looking over those passing through on their different modes of transportation. The immersive artwork is unique in that it doesn't decorate the park plaza, but offers a peaceful and otherworldly experience. The installation can be seen from a range of different locations and becomes a landmark for local and visiting travelers both that pass by during the day. The image of a cherished local bird reminds us that this land is shared with all beings that call this place home. The fabrication will actually be fiberglass, and we may have some examples. We don't have some other examples of fiberglass works. He included in his presentation the very famous shuttlecocks that are outside the Nelson Atkins Museum that have been there for something like 25 years. Just as an example of how long fiberglass can last. So we would expect a very long life from these. He will do an art identification marker, of course, and if we don't have one yet, there will, of course, be a VERA waiver at the time that he is asked to sign a contract. So with that, I give it to Madam Chairman and Chairwoman, and we'll entertain any questions.
Oh, yes, Commissioner Cooper. Sorry, I know her too well. I just always call her Terry.
Thank you. I noticed that these poles appear to be pretty much straight poles. I can't tell the way they're affixed at the top, but I believe that this location in the park has a pretty fair openness to the south, which is where our prevailing winds come from. Are these birds supposed to be fixed in a way that they will rotate with the wind, or are they going to be secured in a way that they have a fixed position?
They will be secured in a fixed position. This question came up during the final presentations, as a matter of fact, and he responded that, of course, everything will be properly engineered. He gave the specifics of what kind of wind load they will be expected to meet. So he's well acquainted with the conditions, the windy conditions in Oklahoma, and they will be engineered to exceed that requirement.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Randy? Yes, Commissioner Kovash. Sorry.
It's on. The UV coating that is recommended in terms of the maintenance, is the city going to do that? Because this is fiberglass and that stuff, I mean, despite the shuttlecocks, the fiberglass fades a lot.
Yeah.
And that's my concern.
He's responsible for adding the UV protectant 100%. He's responsible for 100% of the project, including that.
Well,
Now,
I was talking about the long-term maintenance.
Long-term maintenance falls to the city as on this project as it does to every other project. In this case, specifically to Lower Scissortail Park. Now, this is a side note, MAPS has created a fund that it will be in trust that can be used for the long-term maintenance of any projects that are MAPS projects, from MAPS 1 through MAPS 4, and then anything that happens to follow. So there are funds available for the long-term maintenance of the works.
But it says in the proposal that while little maintenance is required, a high-quality automotive wax that contains good UV protecting agents may be applied as advised. I'm hoping that that's going to be part of the advice to the Scissortail Park people in the maintenance of the project.
What we do, Commissioner Kovacs, is that at the time the project is complete, we require a maintenance manual that explains in detail what needs to be done, and then those manuals, we keep copies in files, and we also give copies, digital copies, to whoever the maintaining organization is, in this case, Lower Scissortail.
Okay, thank you.
Any, yes, Commissioner Salyer.
Meg is fine also. Randy, did the selection committee take a good look at the other pieces of public art that are close to this space? I mean, we do have our trash guy in fairly close proximity. Did we pay attention to citing it?
Might be able to get back to that. So this looks like it was, I can't tell. That may be Trash. I think that's Trash Monster right there.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then, yes, and so this, excuse me, this is not very finely tuned. Anyway, so the birds will be inside of that red circle. So close, yes, but on the other side, on other sides of Overlook Hill.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Anyone from the public want to speak on this one? No. Okay, we will ask for a motion and a second. The suggested motion is to recommend to the City Council for approval and to Downtown Design Commission for a certificate of approval. So if I could have a motion and a second, and then if everybody could vote on Prime Gov or verbally as necessary.
If it's okay, I'll just raise my hand because I'm not getting the voting panel.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay, well, the motion passed.
Cooper, your vote was?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Anyone else not get to vote? Duong? Yes, and Sawyer? Yes.
Oh,
Sally.
okay, presentation, you gotta go to.
Keith, Commissioner Mossant behind you, you also.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
Just got it. Okay, so.
Masson? What was your vote? Was that yes?
okay.
Was that yes? She votes yes.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Should be good.
Okay, looks like everybody's voted now, and it appears that the motion passed. So now I'd like to call Robbie up to present item 3C.
Okay, 3C is two sculptures, Heart of the Game and Off the Pitch by C.J. Wrench, and it's in C.B. Cameron Park Soccer Complex. And hi, Robbie Jones, Special Projects Manager. This item is for two sculptures to be installed at C.B. Cameron Soccer Complex, located at the southwest corner of Northwest 122nd Street and Portland Avenue. The soccer complex is currently undergoing a major expansion which will elevate the facility's capacity and capabilities. It is positioned to become a premier destination for hosting national soccer tournaments. The project's completion date is anticipated to be by the end of 2026. The total budget for the project is $206,000, and the artist is C.J. Wrench of CJR Design. He was selected by the selection committee, which also included Commissioner Nauser. He is a well-known artist out of Oregon, and he's created over 60 large-scale site-specific public works. The largest of the two sculptures is called Heart of the Game. It will be located near the main clubhouse at the south side of the complex. It's an immersive soccer ball that you can walk through and interact with. It is constructed entirely from interlocking metal panels. The interior space is designed for interaction and reflection, and it'll make an amazing backdrop for team photos. The exterior can serve as a space to post team brackets during tournaments. The sculpture is approximately 13 feet tall and 18 by 25 feet wide. The smaller sculpture is called Off the Pitch. It will be located on the north side of the complex, and it's ideal for posting social media photos or just taking a place to rest between games. It's approximately 9 feet tall by 8 feet wide, and the recommendation is to recommend to City Council for a Public Art Commission agreement.
Okay, thank you, Robbie. Do we have any questions from the commission? Commissioner Terry.
I understand that they are metal panels. Is there going to be ventilation between them so that they don't serve as wind foils?
Yeah, that was discussed during our meeting, and the way that it's designed, it has the ability, it's sound, and it will not have the noise that's associated with the wind blowing through it.
I just want to make sure that if the wind catches it, that the wind can pass through it and not be met by a resisting force so that it has the chance of being blown over. Or because if it's a solid mass and it sticks up and it's and the wind catches it in the right way, that as we know, we have some pretty strong winds here, especially in open areas around. And this is close to Lake Hefner, is it not?
Right, it is.
So there'll be a lot of, again, south wind and perhaps even north wind, both of which can be very strong. And I'm just worried about it being a solid mass and not having some type of ventilation possibility so that the wind can pass through the pieces.
So I think that your concern is one that has been thought out. The structural engineer will be working with the artist as well. But again, that was part of the design, the way that it has been spread apart, and you've got some underneath openings as well as throughout it. So the artist has looked at that, and the structural engineer will also take a look at that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Salyer.
So, Robbie, it looks like most of the panels are white, but they are metal, and I assume we've talked about heat.
Yes, so one of the considerations that we've worked with the artist on is just the seating to be white. So like on he had proposed black, and some of the images are still showing the black seat, but as you know, we've moved forward working on this, he will have the lighter color for seating.
Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner Bailey.
I think that you mentioned that this could be a place to put up maybe like tournament information. Can we ask the artist in their maintenance manual to include how that is supposed to be, if they're just supposed to use magnets or something like that, that I just want to make sure that we provide direction. I think that's kind of neat that it's going to be used as a platform for that, but I want to make sure that we direct how to do that instead of people taping stuff on the piece,
Okay.
which we know causes maintenance issues. If it's magnets or something, a specific recommendation on how those can be displayed on the piece.
So this side where this family of 3 is, and they're pointing towards it, it's going to be, what he's illustrated so far is it's painted on, and it's obviously empty. It just has the brackets set up.
Oh, so then they just like
Insert it.
They'll just go in with a marker, not a permanent marker.
okay.
Change that out. That's how I foresee that going.
Okay.
But we are working with the soccer club, so if there's something else that needs to be done or
Yeah.
positioned, I think that we can allow for that.
Okay, any other questions?
Scares me a little bit when you say permanent marker and a non-permanent. I see people just using what they have.
I am so sorry, I can't hear you.
Microphone.
I'm a little concerned when you just said, well,
I will make sure no permanent markers, but they're going to use what they've got in their pocket, so that could be risky.
Yeah, it can. I taught school for a long time, though. There's plenty of ways to get it off. It
Okay.
happens on.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay. We would like to entertain a motion to recommend to the City Council for a Public Arts Commission agreement for this piece. If I could get a motion and a second. Okay. Okay. Looks like the motion passed. All right. And now, if I could get Leandre to join us, please.
Good afternoon, Leandre Lattimore, Project Manager for Arts and Cultural Affairs. Okay. So the project I'm presenting to you today is titled World United by artist Paul Backley. This is a work that's to be located at South Lakes Park Soccer Complex at 12310 South Meridian Avenue. Similar to Cameron, this park is undergoing significant upgrades that will be a great use for the space. So this is just a map and overview of where South Lakes is located. The pin that you see there is the approximate location of the new concession stand, which the work would be located directly outside of. So this here shows the location and a rendering of the concession stand. So the two squares you see there are the two possible locations for the work. We have learned that there's no real advantage or disadvantage to either side of the concession stand, so that's why you see here the two options. So when the work is completed, it will go on either of these sides of the building. So here's a rendering of the work. This work is inspired by the unifying nature of soccer as one of the most popular sports in the world. The work serves as a visual representation of how soccer unites people and cultures from across the globe, all for the love of the game. Its colorful and unique design demonstrates versatility and creativity and is a work of art that can develop a sense of belongingness no matter where it's located. Residents from all over can come and enjoy this work and will be able to take photos in front of it and enjoy it as a great moment of unifying nature. So some of the things you see, such as the things that look like flags, right? So this was largely inspired by different nations from across the world, but without depicting any specific nation. So as you can see there, none of them are actual flags of a specific country, but it's to communicate the feeling of a global presence. Also, another thing is that these flags were also inspired by the different patterns and styles that you'll see for soccer uniforms as well. So there are two moments of inspiration there for the artists. So the work would be 17 feet tall, and it would be made from materials such as steel, aluminum, galvanized fasteners, and the work would be primed, powder coated, and it'll have a clear coat finish as well. So the artist also anticipates that this work will have little to no maintenance. It may accumulate dust over the years, so maybe an annual rinse or a rinse as needed with water is what the artist anticipates will be needed. Of course, upon the completion of the project, the artist will provide a final maintenance plan. Here are just some more details about the work itself. And I'm happy to answer any questions from the commissioners.
Do we have any questions from Commissioner? This is so silly. Commissioner Cooper.
What? Did I turn off? What is the spacing between the crossbars? I'm just wondering about whether or not people are going to be tempted to use that as a type of climbing device.
Yes, well, as you know, Commissioner, any piece of public art we have can and will be climbed by the public. One of the things the artist is doing here, although I cannot give you the exact dimensions of the spacing there, we already discussed that with the artist during the actual final presentation, that this will be designed to ensure as much safety as possible. But of course, we can't guarantee 100% non-climbing, basically.
I just had to ask.
Of course, thank you for your question. Also, just to clarify, the art award for this is $72,500. I forgot to mention that earlier.
And there's two of them,
No, this would just be the only
just
work.
the one. So that there were two.
Yes, to clarify, it will go in one of those two locations,
Okay.
not both.
Gotcha. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Yes.
Hey, Leandre, real quick, I'm sure it's written here somewhere. Does that move? Is it a moving piece?
No, the entire thing is stable. It won't move.
Okay, so it is fixed. It's
Yes.
not like, okay. I mean, that would have been cool, but that would have been a nightmare in the maintenance, right? Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Okay, so we could make a motion. The recommended motion is to recommend to the City Council for a Public Art Commission agreement. And I need a motion and a second, please. And a vote.
Thank you.
And the motion passed. Thank you, Leandre. And I think Robbie is up for the next presentation. Or are we going back to, are we going on to 3E, Randy? Or back to 3A? Okay. Then, sorry, Robbie, I'm going to ask for Randy to come back up.
First, I realized as Robbie and Leandre were introducing themselves that they did things correctly and I did not. So to identify myself, I'm Randy Marks, Program Planner for Arts and Cultural Affairs. And so after that, I want to say thank you to all of you that have shown up today. Thank you for taking the time to be concerned, to come out, to make the effort, to navigate downtown traffic, to find a parking place, all that kind of stuff. It's no small thing, and we're glad that you're here. And look forward to what you have to say. And we want to tell everybody that we look forward to every one of you having a chance to talk and say what's on your mind, and the Arts Commission will give full attention to what you have to say. So I'll navigate back if I can. Okay. So Kick 66 by Cameron Eagle, DBA, Ink Ranch, the site-specific sculptural installation to be located at 2603 North Classen Boulevard. This project is unusual in a number of different ways. For one thing, it is not a 1% for art project. Most of the projects that we bring to you and that you review are financed through the 1% for Arts ordinance. This one is financed 100% through MAPS 4 beautification funds. So that means that city sales tax dollars go to the creation of this work very, very directly. So the MAPS 4 beautification plan includes a lot of different sites at, I can't remember how many right now, but 8 to 10 different sites. One of the sites that was designated, not a specific site, but as an idea, was beautification for Route 66. As there was more discussion about it, it was decided that the best item for the beautification of Route 66 would be a sculpture. And there was a lot of discussion about the beautification projects for a long time, and the projects were very much delayed because of the long-term discussions. Finally, at one point, with realizing that the 100th anniversary of Route 66 was starting to loom up in front of us, the mayor spoke up and said maybe the Route 66 project should be taken out of the total package and it could be considered separately. So the MAPS 4 Citizens Oversight Committee agreed that that was a good way forward. And so the $1 million that was allocated for Route 66 became available to us at that time. And we were prepared, we launched the RFQ almost immediately on a pretty fast track because we were looking at this. January 2026 is only a few months away. We know that the people from Europe and all over the United States that are going to be traveling across the United States on Route 66 in the 100th year are all not going to wait till the actual 100th anniversary in November. They're going to start in January. And as we know, any given day in Oklahoma City, there are hundreds of people here that are traveling Route 66. That may be a little exaggeration, maybe some days only dozens. But I run into travelers frequently, both in Oklahoma City, Arcadia, various other places on the route where you see, obviously, people are traveling Route 66. Motorbike clubs from Germany and France, for example. Anyway, all of that is going to be magnified in 2026. The peak travel time is going to be summer of 2026. So we saw that we had a dilemma. We basically were going to go out and ask for close to $1 million work of art with only 9 months for the artist to get this done by the time it goes to City Council and there's a contract. So we were queued up, ready to go, but we knew it was going to be a heavy lift, and so we wrote in the RFQ that you understand, if you respond to this, that you're going to be expected to respond quickly if you're selected for the work, and you're expected to deliver this work approximately the first week in July of 2026. Everybody knows that it takes about a year on even the smallest projects, and this is anything but a smallest projects. So the artists coming into this, by virtue of the fact that they responded to the RFQ, were already agreeing to that. They were saying, we have looked at this, we understand the logistics, and we're up to the challenge. So around 50, I can't remember exactly how many, but there are 50 to 55 valid responses to the RFQ. Those went to the selection committee of 9 people, broad-based selection committee. This is our standard procedure. We try to get a wide range of people and stakeholders involved. They examined the initial credentials of all of those 55, and they chose 3 finalists. Then let me get the exact date here, if it's in my notes. Then on August 11th, so just 11 days ago, the committee met for final presentations, heard from the 3 artists, to the artists, very, very well-known national, international level artists who've been around for a while and know what they're doing, very, very professional people, and an Oklahoma City artist who's also been around for a long time and knows what he's doing, but isn't as well-known nationally, Cameron Eagle. Cameron was selected on the merits of the design and nothing else. It was an added bonus that he's from Oklahoma City, I'm going to be quite honest, but he out-designed and out-competed the other 2 artists. The selection committee voted, and he was the #1 selection for absolutely everybody that voted. Everybody that was able to make it that day. One committee member was not able to make the entire meeting and couldn't vote. He had close to a perfect score by our rating. So he came very highly recommended from the selection committee. And I'll just say that one of the things that we do before the vote is taken is we check the references that the artists give us. Cameron received a recommendation. One of the people that recommended him, person, if I told his name, virtually everybody in here would recognize the name, person of absolute integrity and intelligence and wisdom. He gave Cameron the absolute best recommendation I have ever seen for any artist on any project in my 8 years at the City of Oklahoma City. Okay, this is kind of background information. I think that we're all more interested in actually what was designed, and the space where it was designed. So this is, first of all, looking at the space. This is at Northwest 25th and Classen, Wesley United Methodist Church to the left of the screen, La Braza, which was the old Camp's grocery store, to the south, HQ Coffee immediately across the street to the right, and then other businesses, of course, up and down. If you went down just a little bit further south and a little bit east, you'd see the Milk Bottle Building. And then, of course, the Gold Dome just 2 blocks away at 23rd Street. So why was this site selected? We looked at least 20 different sites. We shortlisted that to 6 to 8 sites that we looked at in depth, and we were specifically looking for sites that could accommodate such a major work. Ideally, not necessarily, but ideally on the original route of Route 66 and close to the city core. Why close to the city core? Why not out at the edge where people would see it as they come in, or at the, one edge or the other, depending on which way you're going, Chicago to LA or the other way? Primarily for this reason, we want to get people into the heart of Oklahoma City so they can see what the city actually looks like, up close and personal. We want them to be right in the middle so that they can think about, oh, look at this. An Asian district? Really? Oklahoma City has a vibrant Asian district? Who knows? Maybe we should go across the street and see what we've heard about the best pho in the United States in Oklahoma City. What's that all about? If they stay long enough, then maybe they'll visit Cowboy Hall of Fame and FAM, and they'll go to the river sport area where they are going to be hearing that Olympic events are going to be held in 2028. We want to get them here so that we can capture their interest so that they understand a little bit more about the culture of Oklahoma City than what you may just typically see out there. Of course, everybody knows the Thunder, and that's wonderful, and people are seeing more of Oklahoma City because of that. We want them to see a broader range of Oklahoma City, more culture. So we want to get them right into the middle of town. When I first looked on the county map at this property, I ride the bus by here almost every day going to and from work. And I started looking at this, what's up with this triangle of land here? I looked at it on the county map and it showed no ownership. I called the county up and I said, what does this mean? They said, well, usually it means it's owned by the city. Oh, well, what could be better? Here's basically an open site that's owned by the city. Absolutely perfect. Well, as we did a little research, we found out that there was actually a deed, quitclaim deeding the land to Wesley United Methodist Church in 1921, I believe it was, pre-Route 66. So we engaged them as partners, and they have been absolutely wonderful partners. I won't go into all the details, but we've been moving steadily ahead with working on this site. So that's a little background of why we chose this above every other site that we looked at. So here's what Cameron has to say. Creating a modern-day Route 66 classic. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but you can see that the inspiration came in 2 parts. The spirited lyrics, get your kicks on Route 66, that celebrate the open road. And I want to tell you something else that was included in the RFQ, and this came directly from the mayor's office. The mayor said, I want to see a work that includes the words, Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. Now, these are taken directly from the Route 66 song by Bobby Troup, the song written in 1946. It's been sung different ways by Nat King Cole and others, but those are the original lyrics. Oklahoma City is the only location that is mentioned in that song that has anything that's said about it other than just the name of the town. Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. So the mayor wanted to be sure that people connected where they're at with that song that they might have been listening to all their lives. And then also he wanted some graphic depictions of musical notes. So what Cameron did in this particular, in his design, using a boot, his idea was we don't want a sign that's just stuck on over here that has the lyrics and, you know, that has musical notes. We don't want to take that approach. I want to incorporate them into something, and here they are actually conceived to be the stitching of the boot. So this gives me an opportunity to talk about construction. So this is very heavy-duty aluminum construction, powder-coated. Cameron has a partner on this project who is a epic sign builder that has been doing this kind of fabrication for years and years. This is going to be fully engineered. It can stand up to Oklahoma weather. It's going to take whatever gets thrown at it. The total height is about 35 feet to the top of the boot. But it isn't just the boot, it is the entire site. Here's a daytime rendering. You begin to see some of the other site. You can see the mounds. Another view, which really shows the prickly pear cactus. Why a prickly pear cactus? Well, from a practical standpoint, the boot kicking back, as get your kicks on Route 66, kicking back needed something to balance it. Prickly pear is indigenous to Oklahoma. Growing up in the wilds of Edmond, if I was out in the woods or the fields, I had to watch where I was stepping because prickly pear was everywhere. It's not some exotic thing that happens off in the desert. It's right here. It's a native plant. And Cameron says that it represents to him resilience and endurance. And these are characteristics that he thinks are uniquely Oklahoma City. Now you can see more of the site. So a miniature Route 66 that winds its way across the entire site. And I'll say that originally we just were asking for something that was there approximately where the boot was. We were looking at a smaller site. He came in and said, I want to do this entire thing, cover all of this in artificial turf. The road will be concrete, and then there are the various other design elements. The mound that is closest to the large mound that the boot is on will actually house a time capsule that will have cards they'll be vintage looking cards that people can write their remembrances on. They'll go in this time capsule. It'll be opened up in 21-26. That's part of the extra thing that we asked for artists to do, a public participation. So that's the thing that when the grand opening takes place, people will be able to write out notes to people 100 years from now, and they'll go in that time capsule. Another thing that'll happen is that there will be essentially an open air barn dance associated with the opening of this. Again, giving people to put on their boots and come out and dance. Okay. That's the general idea and some specific ideas. I think that I have talked enough. I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to stop right now. And Madam Chair, I turn it over to you for questions from the council.
Commissioners, do we have any questions? Commissioner Cooper.
I am not going to ask a question about its structural integrity. Not this time. And I'm not actually I'm not questioning the artistic merit. I think it's a fun sculpture. I think it's interesting. I think it has a lot of merit. But I do have a question regarding its location. Because I knew Route 66 came through Oklahoma City, but I wasn't sure what the path was, so I looked it up. And the original Route 66 comes in on Kelly. It goes south on Lincoln. It goes across 23rd Street to Classen, goes north on Classen to 39th Street, and 39th Street west to Bethany. That's the original. There were several realignments over the years that took it one up Western and one that went up May Avenue. towards 39th Street. So there's a lot of street area covered by Route 66 within Oklahoma City. Now, one of the things, Randy, that you really didn't mention in the location is that location not only is close to the milk bottle, but it is at the entrance of the Asian district. And the Asian district has been developed over the years, and I believe in large part, not exclusively, the Asian community put their own money into starting the development. This is before we had a really wide city devotion to public art, and they have spent lots of time, lots of resources in making this a focal point of the Asian community. And the whole design criteria of the streetscape for several blocks on Classen Boulevard is an Asian-style garden. And while I like this big red boot, I don't really see it as being properly placed right in, I mean, this is really feet away from the entrance. I question its location. It seems that in all the mileage that and I don't question the artist, I think he's fabulous. But in all the mileage of Route 66 that we have snaking through Oklahoma City, it seems like we could, and the Asian district is kind of a unique area of Oklahoma City that is very special. So it just seems to me that we could find a location where this is maybe more representative of the surrounding neighborhoods and not plunked right down in the front of the entrance to the Asian district. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments? Commissioner Kovacs.
I don't have anything to add. I just want to go on record as saying thank you, Commissioner Cooper, for saying that, and I totally agree with you.
Any other questions from the commission? I'm sorry. Oh, Denise Duong, Commissioner.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Was the artist, I don't remember if it was on the RFQ or did the artist know the location before they designed it?
So the RFQ indicated a general area. We didn't know specifically, but it included this in the general area that we put out there.
Because I thought maybe if he knew that in consideration, he would have like.
But I need to add this just to give a little bit more explanation. By the time of the site visit, when the finalists were here, we met on site, and everybody knew it then.
So he knew exactly what he was working with.
Yes.
I just thought maybe, so because of its location, maybe put that into consideration. I mean, I agree with Terry, everything that she said, but because they did get a site tour, I thought maybe that would be kind of like a sensitive thing they might have considered into the design. But you can't speak for artists, obviously. But
I would like to answer all of these kind of at one time.
Okay.
One of the attractions of this, and maybe one of the great attractions of this location, is the fact that it is adjacent to the Asian district. Now, I don't know where the entrance is, so I may take a little bit of issue of where the entrance is, because you can enter the Asian district from any number of places. One of the entrances is Military Park. In Military Park, there are two really fine works of art. One that was done a number of years ago, right before I came to the city. It's called Brothers in Arms, and it depicts Vietnamese and American solidarity in the Vietnam War. Very, very, very compelling work. The other one that is done by our own Commissioner Duong and partner Gabe Friedman, We Have Arrived, commemorating the boat people that came in 1975, which we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of that. To me, the mythos of Route 66 is exactly on point with the story of the migration of the Vietnamese people to the city of Oklahoma City. And it's not just Vietnamese. That is the largest contingent when we say Asian district. But we know that there are Laotians, Cambodians, significant Chinese population, Southeast Asians, Indians, Pakistanis, and so on. So we're talking about a lot of immigrants that have chosen to come to Oklahoma City to start a new life. That is the story of Route 66. The mythos of Route 66 is get on the highway, head west, start over. And we know painfully in Oklahoma that was the route that hundreds of thousands of Oklahomans used to leave Oklahoma and start life again in California. I see this as a bookend to the Brothers in Arms sculpture and to the boat, to the We Have Arrived boat. They're telling the same story. This is meant it isn't meant to specifically address or not address the Asian district. This is a monument for all of the people of Oklahoma City. And the design is a throwback to the history of Route 66 when this type of design, the kitschy type of design, we saw that up and down Route 66 for decades. This mimics neon, which is very closely associated with Route 66. No neon, all this. All the white will be plexiglass, and it'll be lighted from the inside. I think that there is a rationale for this work being exactly where it is. I continue to think it's the best place. I would personally like to see people to consider it from a different angle and think about the benefit of this to not only to their community, but to the wider community. But we're not here to bowl over or run over anybody. We're here to listen to what people have to say. So as soon as, Madam Chair, as soon as all of the commissioners have their say, then please open it up to those that are on the list and want to speak.
Commissioner Williams?
All right. I think what the other commissioner said is spot on, but somebody told me one time, I can't remember who it was, when you do something for us, without us, you do it to us. And while I'm sure we all can appreciate the idea that, this could attract people to the Asian district and all of that, and bring people into the city, it's important to remember that no matter what, there's still a community there that had little to no say, and it's just no shade to the artists, but it's just a big neon sign, and rather than give to the Asian district, is taking away the attention from what they've built. And so, I don't know. Whenever we do anything on the east side, I always consider, like, just for instance, the murals on the Homeland. When we did that selection committee, the first renderings we had, it wasn't all black people. It was, Asians and, and white people and different people. And I went back to the artist and I said, this needs to be all black. Every face on this building needs to be all black for two reasons. The main reason being, I don't know what it'll look like, what the East Side will look like in 10 years. So whenever 10 years comes, people need to know that we were actually here. And 10 years from now, people need to know that this community actually existed. And this huge cowboy boot is distracting and taken away from that, in my opinion. So that's it.
I hear what you're saying. This was not done in a vacuum. So there was a committee of 9 people. So 2 of the 9 prominent members of the Asian community. Now, we don't it's not our practice to talk about, to name people that are on selection committees. There are a lot of reasons why we don't do that, but it can become obvious over time. They voted for this, each gave it the highest possible score. So we had, and before that, we had conversations with members of the Asian community talking about potential sites in addition to this that were definitely in the Asian district. I understand everything that you're saying, but none of this just happened willy-nilly. So we followed a process. Could we have done better? We're human beings. We could always do better, right? So this is still our recommendation. I want to hear what the people who have signed up to speak have to say as soon as you guys are ready.
Are we ready? Okay. Do you want to call the people from the list that was made out front? Or do you want me to do it? How do you want to work that?
You want to do it?
Do you want me to call them out in order? Or you can, that's fine. And then again, if you'll come up to the center podium where you saw Randy speaking from, state your name and your address, which you just do because that's part of our process for the record. And then you have 3 minutes to give us your comments.
So Steve Lang.
So Rita advises that the chair needs to read.
Sure.
So I'm going to give this to...
Thank you, Rita. We always need an attorney to set us straight. And guess what, Steve? You are first. No matter who reads it, you're first.
Hi there, I'm Steve Lee. My address is 2415 Northwest 31st Street, so Ward 2 resident. Like I said, I'm Steve Lee. I serve on 2 boards, one being the Asian District Cultural Association. I'm their executive director, so actually not part of their board, but part of the association, and then also a board member of Race Dance Collective. I do want to say, though, as of today, that formally, I'm not speaking on behalf of the Asian District and their board or Race Dance Collective, but just as a resident of Ward 2. So what I would like to say after hearing all the comments, thanks to Oklahoma Arts Commission for having this forum for us to be able to express our minds, to have this democracy, to be able to state our opinions. That's what this is for. I understand the sentiments that people have from the public discourse, the comments, everything that we've seen on social media. There's lots of opinions on this, and a lot of it is valuable. I think that, especially after hearing what we have today, while I know that the intention of placing it within the Asian District for best of mind to embrace the Asian District and to bring business, bring tourism, bring these elements there, I think there is a need for an element to come into play with that that does reflect some of the Asian District. I understand where they came from in terms of the art design that, the prickly pears, indigenous to Oklahoma, things like that. But again, with where we are there, with the boat project being there, with how the Asian District continues to grow with our Asian Night Market Festival, I believe that with that, we have an opportunity to continue telling our story of the Asian District, and that should be able to be part of the whole story and the whole narrative of everything that comes through the Asian District. What I want to say is, I still love this location, and I think this is a very valuable location for a Route 66 project. I think it's valuable that the Arts Commission and that this project considered the Asian District as a spot. I think it's valuable for the economy there, to bring tourism there. I just believe that if there is a way for us to move forward, if there is a way for us to add maybe a touch more element to it that does reflect the public, the community there, And I realize that it is Route 66, and that is the community. It's the road of America. I understand that. But I also see it from the viewpoints of what we have said, Commissioner Cooper comments earlier. So again, with community in mind, I believe that we could have a touch more of what this reflects for the Asian district, and I still love the location, and I see that as the future of what the Asian district can bring, how that tourism can be, and with the centennial of Route 66 coming up next year, with the Olympics coming up, I want to see that traffic come through the Asian district. I want people to walk across, have that walkability, and to see the boat project, to see it in tandem. I want them to see, wow, this is a bustling Asian district right here on Route 66, and we are one of 2 pockets of big Asian communities along Route 66. The other one being in LA. We are 2 big pockets, and I think that we can embrace both identities of Route 66 and Oklahoma City's Asian district. We should be able to embrace both within a sculpture. So,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you have gone over your 3 minutes.
Thank
Can
you,
wrap it up, Mr.
and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
And our next speaker will be Steve Hunt. Mr. Hunt?
Hi there, my name's Steve Hunt, 2825 Northwest 57th. I'm not going to take up too much time. I just kind of want to echo what Commissioner Cooper and William said about it. It just doesn't fit the area. You know, Oklahoma City has gone through a lot of hard times in the late 70s, early 80s when the Penn Square Bank crashed. We do have one of the architects of the Penn Square Bank crash, Meg Sipperly, up there, who came down from New York with Chase. And I think she represents the interests that warrant our distrust about pieces of art in places like this. Chris Hedges made a great quote about such things, Ms. Salyer, that the corporate state has made a war against critical thinking, and in particular, the humanities. Because the humanities, at their core, are about teaching people how to think rather than what to think. They're about teaching people to challenge assumptions and structures. The discipline of humanities is subversive and meant to be subversive. And I think that this piece of art and that placement goes against all of that. I like it. I think it would be better fit at the new $8 million corporate welfare Shills location up by Life Church or something like that. But I don't think this is a good spot. Thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt.
I have a 3 o'clock call, but if you don't mind, I'll take it. Tell them
Then
that
come
it's
back?
going to run. Yeah, is that
Okay, that's great. The next person is Gary Wood.
Thank you. Gary Wood, 612 Northwest 40th. I am an HP Commissioner member, and so I'm very familiar with guidelines that we have that follow, that maintain the historic integrity of the city's historic districts. Unfortunately, we don't have guidelines to maintain the cultural areas of our city, so we have to rely on our head and our heart to determine if something is appropriate in an area. And when I saw this, I felt it was necessary for me to come and say, it's not appropriate. And if you say it's appropriate or you try to justify its appropriateness at this particular area where my wife and my family have enjoyed the festivals, enjoyed the park, enjoy seeing the revolution, if you would say, of the area to what it is today, you can see that it is not appropriate. One other thing that kind of really bothered me was, yes, I like the design. The cactus threw me off a bit, so I did look at that and determined that while the cactus is indigenous to Oklahoma, it is indigenous more in southwest and far west Oklahoma, not Oklahoma City. I grew up in Marlow, southwest Oklahoma. You'd see a few of these around. The further west you go towards Altus, where it's drier, a more desert type area, Granfield, Frederick area, you start seeing it a lot. But I ask you, how many prickly pear cactus have you seen growing along the side of the roads as you're driving in the Oklahoma City area? we see a lot of weeds, we see a lot of prairie grass, but I don't see prickly pear cactus. And so that part of the design, coupled with that, was a problem that I had with the design itself. The neon is totally inappropriate for the area that it's being put in this Asian district. So I would ask for you to decline to approve this. I heard that they considered 6 to 8 spots, so it seems that there are other areas that it could be put in the city. Somewhere like maybe along 23rd near Tower Theater that has neon would look very appropriate in that area, but it's not appropriate where it's been proposed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Our next speaker is Nick Tran.
Hello, Nick Tran of 1216 Northwest 34th Street. So I'm right in the area, just right next door to where this will be put in place. I wanted to thank everyone for coming out, and there's a lot of effort, a lot of work put into this. I can tell the artist really cares, about designing this in a good way. But as we kind of said before, it kind of feels out of place in this exact area. So it'd be nice to see with this. Because it's what, 25, maybe 30 feet away from the only Asian district sign to that whole area. That sign stands 10 feet tall, and now we want to put a 35-foot neon sign right next to it. It really pulls away from all the hard work that the Asian District Cultural Association has been doing for the past decade or so, really trying to beautify the area and incorporate these elements into it. We talked about some other sites. There are some other kind of sites. He mentioned that he thinks of it as a bookend to the Brothers in Arms, which I think is maybe a great way to look at it. Then we should put it as a bookend to the other side of the Asian district. There is the Centennial Park just north of that on Northwest 35th, spans from Classen to Western, that big park right there. It has parking on both sides of the park. It both fall within the original Route 66 route. It doesn't detract from anything around the surrounding areas. I think that is probably a good location that's owned by the city that could be thought of for this art piece. And if we want to keep it in the area, I think, as Steve said earlier, we could try to incorporate more Asian elements that are kind of reminiscent of the history and the culture that goes on there. I mean, the district has been going there strong for 60, 70 years. And there's a very vibrant community there. It would be nice to see more of those elements incorporated into what would now become the main icon of the whole district. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Tran. Our next speaker is Mark Falk.
First of all, thank you for your careful consideration on this. I appreciate y'all's discussion, and I honor that. I grew up in that area. I graduated from Classen High School a few blocks from there in 1974. Oh, yeah. It's Mark Falk, 803 Northwest 32nd Street, so I'm just a few blocks from there. I graduated from 1974. There was maybe one Asian restaurant there at that time. 1 year later, the boat people came to Oklahoma City at the behest of our then governor, David Boren. They came from Fort Chaffee in Arkansas. Within literally months, we had thousands of Asian people who relocated and did their best to recreate their culture in Oklahoma City. And it has been the most unique and beautiful thing that I have seen in this city. And in an era, and I want to mention this as well, we're putting scissor tails in Scissortail Park. We're putting soccer balls near the soccer stadium. And we're putting a giant boot in the middle of the Asian community. I think that we need to honor and give respect and glorify the tradition and the history of the Asian community. And I do not believe that this is in any way respectful. I think it disrespects them. I think they have been disregarded. I believe that, I watched a video last night about the boat people coming here. One of the quotes was someone who was a grandson of one of the people who came here, and he said this is what his grandfather told him: wherever you go, remember who you are. And absolutely, that is what has happened in Oklahoma City. They built the first Buddhist temples here. They've had numerous restaurants. I did the tile work for Lockley's home, who started Jimmy's Egg. Now 50 to 60 locations across the nation. They have been a success story in our city, and they have enriched all of our lives. I believe they deserve something there to bring people in. They deserve a sculpture in that district. They have earned it through their hard work. But I believe that that sculpture, whatever that is, should honor, glorify, and respect the people who 50 years ago, if you want to talk about an anniversary, 50 years ago, the boat people came to this city. It is time to do something to honor that instead of putting a sculpture there that honestly is disrespectful to them and frankly tacky. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Falk. And I think I'm reading this correctly. Mark Smith, or somebody Smith, starts with an M. I'm sorry, Mary? Marty, thank you, I'm sorry.
Hi there. I only came to speak today. I learned of this.
I need your name and address.
Oh, sorry, Marty Smith, 1611 Dorchester Drive.
Right.
I read about this in the paper online in Colorado, got home last night, and I came today just to support the integrity, talent, and the fitting artist for the project, wherever it is. I worked in the arts for years. I've known Cameron for close to 40, and I can't imagine a more qualified person who means no malice to anyone.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Our next speaker is Mike Huang.
Hello, Mike Hong, 1920 Northwest 12th Street. I am a former president of the Asian District as well as the founding board of directors. I love what we're doing. That's what I would love to start off saying. Thank you so much for having us out here and being able to give us the opportunity to speak and get our feedback. I know, Randy, that you've been beat up a little bit. I'm going to build you up. Randy, I really love what you're doing. There's so much thought and care that you've put onto this project. So much of yourself, so much time and energy. You picked from 55 different artists, narrowed it down to 3, picked a selection committee that had 8 people specifically from the Asian community, one founder, another current president. We also have our city council that was on there, as well as the church. But unfortunately, what happened was that at the end of everything, after they got feedback, was that only one of the 3 artists, so far as I've heard, did anything with the aesthetic of the Asian District, with the colors red and green. And so basically from their words is that they just picked the best one that they had. I love this project. I love the location. I would urge us not to move it. We're just in a weird situation because it's such a great honor that you would want to put this in the Asian District. It makes sense because it's right in the middle of Oklahoma City. I love bringing people to this area. But on the other side, we have mixed feelings because it just doesn't match the neighborhood. It doesn't match the living room that we're in. But for me, I believe that we can have the best of both worlds. What I see with this, along with what Steve said, is this is a very unique opportunity in the entire United States. Route 66, not only do people know about this in the United States, people know this around the world. People from Europe, people from all around the world come and they travel Route 66 because of the historic sites. So this is there's a Italian place in Chicago, there's areas of New Mexico that are Native American and Latino. This is the only space in Route 66 that goes through an Asian district in the entire country. That is a very unique thing for Oklahoma City, and that can be a destination for the country. I would hate for us to move it, but what I believe is that we could lean into that strength that we have, make this a destination for that. What I would suggest, I've got 30 seconds, is to post this back up on social media, get some feedback from the community. I'm sure people will use AI and ask them, what do you see of this area? How do we make this sculpture more fit into the Asian aesthetic? Maybe it is the structure of it. Maybe you put a rice hat on it. Maybe there's bamboo instead. But I believe that we can lean into this. Maybe we give this back to Cameron for him to reimagine, or we open it up to those 3 artists to reimagine and pick. 5 more seconds. Give me 5 seconds. So I know that thank you. I know that we're on a time crunch. We want to do this quickly. However, it's like to slow down and to speed up. I would say that this is going to be here for a long time. 50 years from now, this is going to be here. Let's take a little bit more time and care and look at this so we can do it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Our next speaker is Ba Luong.
Hi, Ball Long, 2668 North Military Avenue, business owner and also a founding member of the Asian District. Thank you for having me. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces here today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this. And I wanted to give a little perspective that some people may not have. I'm coming from the perspective of a business owner, as well as one of the founding members of the Asian District when we founded the Asian District over 25 years ago on here. I grew up in Oklahoma City. I did not know that the Asian District was part of Route 66 for the longest time. And the only reason I found out was I got a phone call from the producers of Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmern, and that's when I found out that we were on Route 66. Did not realize the importance of Route 66 to it, and was ecstatic that Andrew Zimmern wanted to explore the Asian community and Asian food on Route 66. So that was an eye-opener for me. Second eye-opener was that I got another phone call from a producer for a BBC talk show, or a travel show, the Hairy Bikers. And I got this phone call, and they were like, we want to come down to the Asian District and come down Route 66. We're driving the entire Route 66, and we want to stop by Oklahoma City and highlight the Asian District and the Asian food in Oklahoma City. And that's when I realized, after talking to some of the presenters there, that Route 66 was really important to not only people outside of Oklahoma City, but also people in Europe as well, too. These were 2 bikers that were driving down on their motorbikes through the different parts of Europe, and they chose to come to America and come down Route 66. So one of the things that's unique is that, you know, it's an opportunity for us to be able to highlight that the Asian District is part of Route 66, but also that Route 66 also has a diverse and growing Asian community in here as well too. And then I want to bring one more point, is that recently I got in contact with a television or a movie producer and director. His name is John Padgett. He did a documentary on Route 66 over 20 years ago, and he was commissioned to come back for the 100-year anniversary of Route 66 to do an update on Route 66. And he called, and he wants to come to Oklahoma City, and he's actually filmed some of the episodes and clips about the Asian District in his movie. So the Asian District will be part of that movie as well too. So before we decide one way or another, I think we need to take a step back, just like what Mike said, and explore all the different advantages and disadvantages of having it within this area or elsewhere. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. And I think it's Mariah Gillespie.
Hi there. Please forgive me, I'm very nervous. I've never done this before. My name is Mariah Gillespie. Address is 1220 Northwest 37th Street. I'm a nail artist at Milk Nail Salon, and I have been for 3 years, which is located in the original Route 66 Milk Bottle Building. My first day working at Milk, we had a family of tourists from Spain visiting the States and traveling the original Route 66. That first week and every week thereafter, I have been shocked at just how many tourists come into OKC to see the gold dome and the milk bottle. I work in the milk bottle building at least 4, if not 5 days a week, and can attest, as well as my coworkers and many clients, that travelers of the original Route 66 visit our shop every single day. That is in the winter, that is in the summer, that is in the rain, that is in the shine. Because of this everyday occurrence, I see it pointless to spend our MAPS dollars for another Route 66 icon for visitors to see. I would like to think that our tiny triangle building with a big milk bottle on top with a very rich history and a huge metallic gold dome are enough for our tourists to see, because it has been all of these years. If we are not here today to discuss whether or not this is happening, but rather where it is happening and of what, then I will say this, that the Asian District is a vibrant and beautiful community within Oklahoma City, and arguably the reason that the area of 23rd and Classen is what we know and love. And it is not the correct place for a huge red cowboy boot. We at Milk are eager to tell our tourists that the most popular business that existed in the milk bottle building was a Vietnamese sandwich shop that many people knew and loved, which is a perfect example of how both Route 66 and the Asian District can exist together and support one another. I think the Western boot icon not only diminishes the complexities of what makes up Oklahomans, but it also disrespects the Asian District and wastes the opportunity to highlight the culture of the community that it would be placed in. If we are spending $875,000 of MAPS money, it is a huge responsibility to choose something that not only benefits the community that it would be placed in, but also honors the complexities of what makes up the Oklahoma City that we know and love. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And I apologize, I can't read the first name. The last name is John.
Hi, I'm Zita John.
Thank you.
Yeah, Z-I-T-T-A. Our address is 2426 North Classen is my business address. I own the nail salon inside the milk bottle building. I don't have a lot different to say than Mariah did. We're in a very unique position where we do see these tourists every single day. Our clients are shocked every day how many there are. I mean, 5 to 10 per day. They're out there at 7 a.m., they're out there at 7 p.m. I think it's kind of ironic that they want to put this boot down there to draw tourists in to show them the Asian District when we already have an attraction. We have attraction to the Asian community, so I think that this project could be rerouted to something that would represent the community a lot better and a lot clearer than here's a boot and maybe it has some Asian aspect to it. I think I've read this from Jen where it's like you have to put this art here, right? But art can be many different things, and I think that this money could be spent better doing something that would benefit the community and make something useful, do something to the park. I see these tourists come every day and they pass up the park. And we're over there telling them, hey, here's the park, here's the history, but there's nothing that draws them to the Asian District from Route 66. They want to come see the weird milk bottle, but they need something that's going to keep them in the district and show them oh, there's restaurants here, there's history here, stay in the district for a bit and see what this is all about, versus just a boot to come take a photo in front of. There's nothing useful about it other than drawing it to the area, but then what? There's no history. You can't just come and see the boot with no historical value to it. It's just a boot at that point. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. I'd like to see something useful that the community can use, a playground, seating areas, something to improve the park, something to make my corner there safer, to draw people to the park. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johns. John. Our next speaker is JoJo Bolts.
Hello, thank you. Why is there a huge cowboy boot? I thought this was the Asian District.
Give me your name and your address
Oh,
first,
sorry.
please. That's okay.
JoJo Bowles, 3213 Venice Boulevard. Why is there a huge cowboy boot? I thought this was the Asian District. This is a question we should get used to hearing when we bring our friends to visit the Asian District. And I don't know about you guys, but I won't have a good answer for them. Diversity has always been one of the main strengths of this nation and this community. Diversity brought us our first James Beard Award. Diversity brought us our first NBA championship. Diversity even brought us some Emmy Awards. This project, in its current form, does nothing but harm that diversity. It will serve to diminish the authenticity of the district and the culture of the people who make it special. It robs those people of their cultural autonomy while robbing the rest of the citizens of this city and its tourists of unique and interesting experiences, be those cultural, social, or culinary. Another aspect of this that I don't feel many have considered and will likely ruffle some feathers is that it serves a much more sinister agenda, be that purposeful or completely by accident. Even in defeat, the United Daughters of the Confederacy were allowed to erect monuments throughout the country to remind the freed slaves of their place. This would send a similar message, even if some don't see it. The subliminal message remains. And it is something that people of color in this country are sadly all too familiar with. To me personally, if it is or not, it feels predatory. We should be making this district and all districts more true to the cultures they host, making the centerpiece be a literal massive red blinking neon sign that basically screams whiteness at the top of its lungs while towering above anything else in a district labeled the Asian district does the opposite of that. I don't expect the featured special at my favorite pho restaurant to be a 2-pound cheeseburger, regardless of my intense love for cheeseburgers. The concept that those pushing for this project don't know where the Asian district begins is either dishonest or shows a lack of due diligence and thereby a lack of respect to the community, which, when we are talking about spending almost $1 million of taxpayer money on a neon sign, I find problematic. Right now, the previously mentioned monuments are being put back up, memorial crosswalks are being painted over in the middle of the night, and immigrants are being targeted in so many negative ways by governments large and small throughout our nation. Should Oklahoma City be added to the list of those that will do the opposite of nature the people who have added so much beauty and diversity to our community? Or will we choose to refuse to add to that trend that does nothing but harm us all in the long run? So in closing, I think the proposed location is fantastic, but I would implore that we take the time to find a project that shows respect and honors the culture of that area while also bringing joy to our community as a whole, as well as the people who travel historic Route 66. Thank you for your time and your efforts on the commission.
Thank you. Our last speaker on the list is Jenny Nguyen.
Good morning. Oh my goodness, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jenny Nguyen. My home address is 1225 Northwest 32nd. My property addresses are 2600 North Classen and 2520 North Classen. Those two properties are directly across the street from this proposed boot. Today, there's HQ Coffee, which Anj right here runs, and the Pink Building, which is at 2520 North Classen. Miss Denise here has a mural on one side. Quinn back here has a mural on the other side. So you can say that I very much care about the development of this corner. And I think, based off social media, you guys probably know where I stand on it. And I signed up last on purpose because I have strong faith in my community to echo exactly how I feel about this project. And I appreciate everything you said, Commissioner Cooper, on the project. Ba talked about the director, John Padgett. I was also interviewed by him. And when he sat down in my restaurant, the first thing he said to me was like, he let out a giant sigh of relief and he said, thank God I don't have to eat another cheeseburger. And that is, I know, as silly as that sounds, that's something that we should double down on, is this experience in the middle of that these people in the middle of the route, that they'll get to experience. And we should, there's just, it doesn't, at the end of the day, this boot doesn't make any sense on that corner. There's nothing else that I can say about it, and I will continue fighting against it. And I think all of us can agree that it can go somewhere else. I have nothing to criticize about the art or the artist. That's not what I'm here for today. I'm happy to propose a bunch of different solutions when it comes to the development of it or splitting up of the funds or where they can be allocated in a way that if this is a site location that we need to choose, I'm happy to help construct a team to make sure that we use that space effectively, whether that be accommodating our senior community, accommodating our children in the community, both of which those two communities we don't have anything for in the district. A lot of my work with the Pink Building is to eventually expand into Military Park to create those things. I think this $875,000 investment could be used much better, and I'm happy to figure out a way together to do that. I know I can make $875,000 go a long way. We certainly have done a lot with just putting our Night Market Festival together. One of the things that I'm most proud of with that festival is creating so much support around us that we were able to close down both sides of Classen to create this Night Market Festival. Now imagine if I was like, yeah, take a left at the boot, that's where you'll find Asian Night Market Festival. That's not gonna happen. I'm done. You cut me off. Wait, can I have 15 more seconds like Mike?
Sure.
Okay. Essentially, thank you. Randy, I appreciate your call yesterday. I definitely noticed during your presentation when not one single time Asian District was mentioned, and I'm here to advocate for Asian District in every room, any time, and any place. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Do you want to make any additional comments, Randy? We have one more person? Oh, speaker? Oh, okay. The next one, I believe, is Thuan Nguyen. I'm sorry. Tu, thank you.
Hello, Arts Council and Arts Commissioners. My name is Tin Nguyen. My address is 2423 North Classen Boulevard. I'm one of the business owners in the Asian District, founder of the Asian District Cultural Association, and I also served on the committee that selected the artwork, part of representing the Maps 4 subcommittee on connectivity and beautification. And so I wanted to come by. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit underdressed. I just got back from Leadership Oklahoma retreat, so literally just got back into town just now. But I wanted to stop by and give you some comments to a lot of people. I know that there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of challenges that there's people that are opposing, but I am here to rally to make sure that the property and the location for this Route 66 stays in the Asian District. It's really important to that fact. I do know that the artwork and working with our committee and on the subcommittee, we did our due diligence, we did our best in selection of the artist, and I believe that if possible, I don't know if it's consideration, but any altercations to the artwork, maybe a consideration. If not, maybe if we could have the artist come and present or explain more. So I wasn't here earlier, so I might have missed out on that. But thank you so much for your time. But I really am here to rally that the Route 66 because it makes perfect sense. For this art piece to be part of Route 66, just because of the Gold Dome, the location, any of the other art commercial corridors wouldn't make so much sense. And so, and also the timing that we have to get it done, and the location, I feel like it's a good fit for our city. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Are you going to come back up, or
you can
ask for a motion?
Anybody else wants to speak.
Does anybody else want to speak? Okay.
Hi, my name is Andrea Schultz. My address is 1225 Northwest 18th Street, and I'm the owner of HQ Coffee, located at 25th and Classen, directly on the east side of where the proposed development is. I was also the former executive director of the Asian District Cultural Association and have now served as an advisory board member. We had opened the discussion about the Route 66 Centennial about a year and a half ago with Arts Commission. We were very excited to potentially host an art piece that would highlight the beautiful, Asian district that we've been advocating for since our association was formed in 2018, since it was founded 25 years ago, thanks to some of our legacy business owners. I stepped back from that conversation end of last year and was curious on the development of that when we saw the Centennial, again, coming up here in just 4 short months when we are expected to see a wave of tourism. And then coming with a bit of a shock when we saw the finalized art piece. I think one of the conversations and perspectives I'd like to present today that has come up in the past week since this art piece was presented, and I think really summed up really well in the quote that Commissioner JB said, that if you don't do work with the community, it comes across as doing work to them. And I think it just brings to the bigger 5,000-foot view of what the purpose of rushing this art piece for the Centennial serves. When the road to America, the tourism that were expected 100 years ago was formed, America has changed a lot in those 100 years. And when we're creating an art piece in 2025, what does our community look like now? And I think these beautiful communities that now exist along the route are what's going to drive tourism, let alone not just the route, but I think people are surprised to find an Asian district located in the heart of America, bridged between Chicago and Los Angeles, where the Chinatowns are the only other place you'll find probably the level of Asian food that you'll find in Oklahoma City, which I think, again, makes Asian District in Oklahoma City such a unique and rare opportunity for people to come and see that we're not only a historic Asian district, but we're alive and vibrant and still thriving and continuing to advocate and develop and revitalize the area today in 2025. And I believe too, nothing against the artist or the art piece itself, but having a 35-foot neon boot right next to the Asian district sign does come as an inadvertent signal of, is this a former Asian district? Does this community not exist here anymore? If new development coming in, bigger, brighter, louder, doesn't represent or align with the community that exists here today. When we just advocated for We Have a Ride boat sculpture representing and going right in line with the mission of the Asian District Cultural Association to promote and preserve the Asian district in Oklahoma City, it feels counterintuitive now on the other side of Classen to put in something bigger, bolder, stronger, newer, when we're working really hard, and that piece was that we worked with Denise on and Gabriel Friedman to tell our community's story, because I think people don't see it. And to outsiders, especially traveling through Oklahoma City, you're not going to see a boot and prickly pear and initially understand the history of why we have had an Asian district in Oklahoma City for 50 years. So I think that's another outside perspective when putting a permanent art piece that will last potentially the next 50, 100 years, what we're also wanting to represent for the future and for the time capsule that is supposedly to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do the commissioners have any more comments after hearing the public? Yes, Commissioner Salyer.
Thank you so much. I really would like to thank everybody for coming down. And the first thing I want to say is I am a very proud member, founding member of the Asian Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and with Jenny and some others. And I've had the privilege of working with you all as you build that district, and I'm so proud of what's there. I think everybody had made some great comments and very much appreciate kind of the conflict that we're facing of a very interesting piece of artwork. I didn't really hear any criticism or much criticism about the piece of art. I do think it doesn't have neon. Is that correct? It's not.
It does not.
Neon.
No.
So I think that's important to say.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry, Randy, the piece is not neon.
No.
And so I think it's important to say that.
It mimics neon, but there's
it's
no
not.
neon on it.
And I said to sort of, my second comment is I may be one of the oldest ones up here to recognize maybe the history of the lyrics of the song, that, it is sweet, and I think there's a lot to it. But I would say that in my personal experience in placing art, both privately and publicly, if you have to explain it, it's a challenge. And I think we have a challenge. Those are my comments.
Okay. Anything else from the commission? Any other comments from you, Randy?
So, first of all, thank you. Thank you for.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Well thought out comments from all of you. I've been in a lot of council meetings and other meetings where people have spoken. This was a high level of commentary. Really appreciate you, again, taking the time to come out and talk. This has been very instructive. Some person mentioned democracy. We like to say this is ground level democracy. That's what is going on. You're participating in what makes the United States what has made us strong for 250 years. So again, thank you for participating in that. It's really thoughtful.
Randy, excuse me, but both Commissioner Cooper and Bailey have comments they want to make, so I didn't realize that.
Oh, okay.
So, Commissioner Bailey?
I just had a question about the formality of motions on this piece, and if our options are deny the application or approve the application only. Are there any other suggestions on how to address that?
Yeah.
There are multiple ways forward, and I'll talk about that. Might want to get Commissioner Cooper's comment first.
I can't see whether, though, it's on. Mine was actually a procedural question too, and that is there some way to sever the approval of the piece of art from the location? Because we do have a submission of a very interesting piece of art, and we have a submission of a very lovely location, but I'm not certain that the piece of art and the location should be married to one another. So can we separate out the approval of the art from the location, or are they a package deal?
And a follow-up question to that also is, in respect for the artist, if they were given a location as part of their application, I want to be respectful that these may not be we're not designing art from the horseshoe, that the artist needs to maybe respond to that question also.
Well, my understanding, because I've been on many of these committees, as I'm sure you have too, Commissioner Bailey, but the initial meeting with the artist is a capabilities. It's to see, do you make art that is great, and are you, it lasts, et cetera. And then the second meeting, when the artists are narrowed down, they actually do go to the site. So when they create a spec piece for us to look at, or for the group that was in that to look at, then they have a specific site that they designed for.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't redesign it to go in another location.
Right. And I guess I would encourage staff maybe to have that conversation in lieu, okay,
So this meeting is precedent setting in several ways. More items on the agenda, I think, than we've ever had before. More audience participation. We want you guys to come back again. This is kind of fun to have a room full of people for a change. We need a 2-minute recess so the municipal councilor and I can talk about something to specify our way forward. So we ask the commission to give us a 2-minute recess. We'll step out and talk, and then we'll be right back.
Sure. Can you make your call now? Oh, you did it? Okay, thanks. Okay, let's come back to order.
They did a couple matches.
Yeah, do the gavel.
Oh, you got to use the gavel?
Yeah. Okay, could we come back to order, please? I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
Can we come back to order, please? Thank you. Okay, Randy, you're on.
So after consultation with our municipal counselor, these are the instructions. There will be a single vote for art and location together, because that is how the agenda is written. You're voting, you're considering this art at this location. Now, after that vote, there may be some commentary, but no further vote today. This is the only thing that we're voting on. And I want to remind everybody, this is a recommending body. This is not a judicial body.
Right.
The Arts Commission makes a recommendation or not to the City Council. The City Council, composed of 8 councilors and the mayor, they're the deciders. They're the boss. They're the only ones that really get a say. We all get to talk, but they get to decide. And just as a side note, whether I should or not, I'm not feeling beat up. Thank you for thinking about me. This is part of this job. It's a job that I do by choice, with the permission, with the good graces of the mayor, the city manager, and the city council. Happy to be here, and I'm very happy to be part of this process. And one thing I was convinced about is no matter what happens, we're going to go to a good conclusion. Those are personal comments. Madam Chair, I turn it over to you to proceed with the vote as you are ready.
So our motion is to recommend to the City Council for a public art agreement for the Kick 66 sculpture at the location on Classen Boulevard. So I need a motion and a second, please. Okay, now if you'd like to vote, again, you're voting for this sculpture at this location, correct?
Okay, we have a point of order here, so the chair cannot make the motion.
Oh, I was just repeating it.
And, okay.
So somebody else has to be, there we go.
Yeah.
So now we need a second.
And
I'm trying to second, but it can't.
Yeah, I think it's because it already had proceeded to the vote.
There you go, Meg. And do you need to vote by voice? Are you guys back on? Or? Okay. Okay. And it looks like the motion failed. Okay.
may I make a couple of comments?
Sure.
Now, again, thank you everybody for your participation. So there will be no recommendation to the City Council on this particular project as it stands right now. We definitely have heard everything that has been said today, both from the commissioners and from citizens and residents. We're going to take this under advisement in deciding how to proceed. There are multiple ways forward from here. We're going to explore which ways of those are the best for the city, definitely for the Asian district. It's very, very clear the will of those that are in the Asian district. That is not going to be discounted whatsoever. Same art could end up in a different location. There could be modifications of art here. We will talk about those in the future. Thank you.
Okay. So we now move on to Born to be a Star and Robbie. I'm sorry. I don't think so. You- 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so we're fine. Yeah. We still have quorum after Meg.
Okay.
Yes. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Go back one more. Okay, hi, Robbie Jones, and we're going, oh, excuse me. To look at Born to be a Star by Marcus Muse. It's a mural to be located in Phillips Park. It's through Strong Neighborhoods Initiative for Martin Luther King Neighborhood. West Phillips Park. On March 31st, 2025, a request for qualifications for private art in the MLK neighborhood, and it was through Strong Neighborhood Initiative, was announced. The budget was set at $10,000 for the installation of a mural in Phillips Park to address community cohesion, youth engagement, and cultural heritage preservation. The selection committee selected the proposal by artist Marcus Muse. The Neighborhood Association is part of the Strong Neighborhoods Initiative program through the City of Oklahoma City. In the future, SNI and MLK neighborhoods hope to use this space as a hub for sharing information, books, and food. And they hope the mural will reflect the following: representation, highlighting the diversity of the community with a special focus on uplifting the Brown community; inspiration, the values of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights leaders; and spirit, capturing unity, growth, and resilience. The design.
Okay.
Go back to that. Okay.
Do we have any comments from the commissioners? Terry, no, Commissioner Cooper?
Just a question. It keeps
Yep, that's the
turning
right
off.
one.
It keeps turning off. I know you said it's in Phillips Park, but what is the address? What streets?
The address is 2808 Prospect Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Yeah, I just have one comment. I'm just excited. I love seeing more art over on the east side, and I know this park really well, so it's perfect.
Okay. Yes, it's Commissioner Kovac.
I'm sorry, I was so focused on the other stuff, I wasn't paying good attention. Are these essentially these panels a series of murals?
It's a series of murals that are painted in one location, but on different pieces of.
Right. Is there any thought to replacing them in the future with new murals, or do they hope to maintain these murals?
They are going to protect them with a coating after the fact. We know that murals aren't going to last forever, but it will at least serve the community for at least the next 10 to 15 years is the goal.
So there'll be maintenance, and who knows what in the future they may put new murals up. Maybe, who knows, right?
Yes, and some of the maintenance may be just through the volunteers with the neighborhood. Just the cleanliness of the area and keeping it
Okay, thank you.
up.
Okay, so now we would, somebody want to make a motion to, okay. The recommended motion is to recommend Strong Neighborhoods Initiative staff proceed with the public art agreement according to the policies and procedures of their office. Okay, then we can vote. And it's passed. Okay, and Randy, would you like to join us again? (3F).
Item 3F is a proposed amendment to the Arts Commission ordinance. So the ordinance, of course, is voted upon by City Council. Ordinance changes are read and then at one meeting, and then they're voted upon at a further meeting after the public has a chance to think about it, discuss, and so on. My recommendation is that we do something similar to that. So this could be thought of as almost a first reading of proposals. Even though the agenda says discussion and possible vote, probably there will be discussion and no vote, but we'll see. You can vote on it when we get to that point. At 15 members, the Arts Commission is the largest body, committee in the city. It originally was 20 and was reduced down to 18. We're proposing in the amendment to reduce the body down to 9 members to bring it more in alignment with the other commissions such as Urban Design Commission and various others. Some of them, 9 is usually the maximum number of members on any committee. Some of them are at 6, or I think 6 is actually about as much standard as 9 is. We're proposing 9. In May of 25, we began talking with the mayor's office, just thinking ahead about appointing new members to the commission. We have a number of commissioners whose tenures are up and have not been replaced, and they're able to still be here occasionally, and we appreciate that, but essentially we are working with, most of the time we're working with 11 members right now. So we were talking with the mayor about potentially naming new members of the committee, and the question about an ordinance to change the commission came up, and he said that he would rather that there be talk about an adoption of a new ordinance before he proceeded with any new recommendations to the commission. Okay, so that brings us up to date on the background. The proposed amendment would be 9 members, 4 members, 8 of the members would be required to be residents of the city. You may not have realized that, but you don't actually have to be even a resident of Oklahoma City to be on the Oklahoma City Arts Commission. But recommend that 9 be on the commission, at least 8 of them be residents of the city, 4 members will be at large. So this means that the mayor chooses them based upon all kinds of criteria, but there's no specific criterion that they are representing a certain arts organization or they have a particular function. 3 members shall be professional artists, performers, landscape architects, and/or architects. 2 members shall be from arts and cultural organizations. So currently we have 1 member that is in essence representing allied arts and 1 that is in essence representing the Oklahoma City Arts Council. So we're suggesting that instead of there being specific representation from those 2 organizations, that the city has grown and developed so much, and we see such diversity in the cultural organizations, that we want to open this up so that this criteria would be 2 members from who are representing or recommended by arts and cultural organizations. So it could be Race Dance Collective. We had, as an example, we had a member of Race Dance here today speaking. So that is part of the change we recommend. We recommend that there be a change in attendance requirement, and that at the end of a commissioner's term, they can be reappointed for another term, provided they have attended a minimum of 66%, 2/3 of scheduled meetings during that term. Members may be removed by the mayor with the consent of the city council for inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. The mayor may file a written statement of the reason for the removal. Members may resign with the mayor's acceptance of a letter of recommendation. Other changes that would take place are we're codifying that which is not in the ordinance as is written right now, the Arts Commission shall select one of its members as chairperson, another as vice chairperson, and another as commission advocate. This will bring the ordinance in alignment with our current practice. Officers shall serve in the capacity for a period of 1 year or until a successor may be elected and shall be eligible for re-election for no more than 2 additional terms. The chairperson, vice chairperson, and commission advocate shall receive no salary or other compensation for their services. Sorry.
That's all right.
Added to the proposed amendment, and I'll just read these out so they'll be part of the record. All meetings of the Arts Commission shall be held at the call of the chair, vice chair, or the request of majority of the members of the Arts Commission to commission staff. Presiding officer, the chairperson, or in their absence, the acting chairperson, shall preside over all meetings of the Arts Commission. Attendance. Members of the Arts Commission shall attend at least 66% of the regularly scheduled Arts Commission meetings over 1 calendar year period. Failure to achieve this level of attendance shall result in the termination of the member's tenure with the Arts Commission, and the mayor may make an appointment to fill the vacancy. The Arts Commission chairperson shall notify the mayor through city staff when a deficiency in attendance has occurred. Absences may be excused due to illness, family emergencies, and other extenuating circumstances to be determined by Arts Commission staff. Quorum. 5 members of the Arts Commission shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business unless there is a vacancy in the membership, in which case it shall be a majority of the active members. Quorum will be a majority of the active members. If there is a vacancy, the quorum is decided on that number that are currently active at that time. Action taken at any meeting shall require the affirmative vote of a majority of the voting members of the Arts Commission present at the meeting. Open to public. All meetings of the Arts Commission shall be subject to Oklahoma Meetings Act. Any person or his or her duly appointed representative shall be entitled to appear and be heard on any matter before the Arts Commission. Rules. The Arts Commission shall adopt its own rules for the conduct of business, provided such rules are not in conflict with the Oklahoma statutes or the city code. Those are the recommendations, and we put them before you for discussion.
Commissioner Kovach.
Only one simple question. Why is it 8 instead of 9 members shall be reside in Oklahoma City?
This is basically a concession to the old ordinance in which multiple members could be could be non-residents of the city. It could be, we could say that all 9 commission members must be residents.
I'd like to suggest that all 9 members be residents. That's it, thank you.
Okay, now we don't have quorum.
Yeah.
He moved his phone call from 3 to 3:45 because he thought we'd be done.
Okay.
That's why he stepped out a few minutes ago. Okay, so the meeting's suspended until we have quorum again. I didn't ask him that, I apologize. Do you want me to go ask him? He's going to reschedule it again and come right back in.
Are we not allowed to speak until he comes back in?
Well, the meeting's suspended, so I guess not. Nothing on the record. There we go. Now we're back. We have quorum. That's all right. So Commissioner Cooper?
Can I say something?
While I understand, I mean, since Oklahoma City Arts Commission, I would like, there are a number of communities that are completely surrounded by Oklahoma City, and it's kind of, it may be a matter of a zip code or a postal address or a school district can change where your designation is listed. And and there are an awful lot of people in those areas who are really involved in the arts community in Oklahoma City. So I think giving a little leeway by having one person, to not be a resident of what is Oklahoma City, or we're going to make an actual designation of what a resident of Oklahoma City is. There's a lot of questions there. Is it a mailing address? Is it where you get your garbage? Is it where you go to school? It's not, there may be an answer, but it sometimes isn't exactly easy to say what that is. So as fond as I am of Commissioner Kovash, I will say I would like to have that leeway to be able to include people who might not officially be in Oklahoma City.
This exchange is an illustration of exactly why we want to read and then consider later, because we want to get these out on the table so that you can consider these. This may take several meetings for us to get to a final point. So, and we want to hear everything that you have to say now and in the future about any of the proposed changes.
Commissioner Bain.
For under section A, number 2, 3 members shall be professional artists, performers, landscape architects, or architects. I would like to caveat that so that we have a minimum number of artists out of that 3. And I don't know what that looks like, whether it's 2 out of the 3 or 1 out of the 3. I think that the artists that have served with me for the few years I've been on here, it's getting kind of long now, but have provided a lot of value. And as much as I appreciate the perspective of architects and landscape architects, they're coming from a different direction with their comments. And so I would put artists of all kind in the same, performers would be in that category for me too. So that would be a suggestion I would make.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner.
And as the representative from Allied Arts, I think that opening that up, because Allied Arts does represent a great number of artists and artist groups in Oklahoma, but again, the city's grown, there's many art organizations that make sense, so I think it makes sense to broaden it, still have somebody from one of those organizations, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Allied Arts and the Arts Commission. I think that makes sense.
I think one thing that we're seeing in Oklahoma City is the manifestation of the leadership of Allied Arts and Oklahoma City Arts Council. You think back when the ordinance was adopted in the 1980s, there wasn't a whole lot going on. Mm-hmm. And we had 2 bright shining beacons at least that were out doing things and making things happen. Now we have multitude of arts organizations that are strong, mm-hmm. and arts and cultural organizations that are strong. So yes, that's what's prompting the thought, and thank you for your thoughts, Chair.
And I would like to voice support for reducing the membership number to 9.
Great. Any other comments for Randy? I believe you're on the docket for our next one as well. G.
Okay, so we will have no vote on this, and then we will bring this.
If you want,
No, well, it seemed like the will of the commission. We'll bring this back later on with
and make the changes that have been recommended here. Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk. We want to be sure that these are well discussed before we go to a final vote and make a recommendation to the city council.
Okay. So you want do you want one of us to make a motion to pass this till the next meeting?
Motion, do we?
Okay.
Okay. We have fulfilled the requirement of the agenda.
Okay, great. The next one is the Air Force Monument, and Randy will present that as well.
The Air Force Monument, which should be nothing but a bright and shining beacon, which it was intended to be when it was first installed in 1963, and which it was for some time after that. It's a problem, and it continues to be a problem because of various physical aspects, not the monument itself, but because of various physical aspects. And every time we think that we're ready to do something, we find out that there is some other physical problem with it. The most recent physical problem we found out was the extremely bad condition of the bronze itself, of the main part of the monument, which is a sculpture based on Wayne Bauman, who was an Air Force cadet that was used as the model. Thank you. The bronze was refurbished. There were cracks in it that were welded shut. Every flaw that was visible was addressed by Smith Art Conservation in November of last year. At the same time, they did an assessment of it. By the way, when the refurbishment was done, this was the first time it had been refurbished since it was installed in 1963. There was an assessment of it at the time it was refurbished, and what Andrew Smith told us was this work is extremely fragile. If it was moved, it could literally fall apart. If it's going to be moved, it needs to be handled with extreme care. Not that it can't be moved, but it can't be moved carelessly. There are multiple reasons I won't go into about why the bronze was in such bad shape, but within weeks of the time that it was refurbished, Robbie went to take some documentation photos and saw that water was leaking out from the inside of the sculpture through cracks in it that had not been visible at the time of refurbishing. So this is kind of what we're faced with. At the same time that this was going on, we've been having ongoing discussions about refurbishment of the monument. So this got included into the mix, the bad shape of the bronze. And so one option, when we talked to Andrew Smith about it, one option that he mentioned was you could have the bronze actually recast. The work itself, new mold could be made and the work could be cast again. We did some checking and have found out that such a process could cost anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000. So there are a couple of different methods that could be done, but anyway, that would ensure that if the work is going to last for for 100 years, or maybe 200 or 500 years, it would be cast anew. Anyway, that was one option going forward. In the committee, it's kind of an ad hoc committee that includes Commissioner Nowser, also Commissioner Center, Commissioner Salyer, representatives of the Air Force, members of the Parks Department who are Air Force veterans, also the cadet group that involves a lot of future Air Force members and also former and retired Air Force members. They were the one, I won't go into all that. Anyway, this whole committee has been talking about what is our best way forward. The last place that we landed was maybe the entire monument needs to be rethought in a new location. And this is a favored solution by the Parks Department. They have a location in mind. We don't want to talk about it right now, but they have reasons why it perhaps could and should be moved from Kerr Park and the monument be totally reimagined in a new location. And the thinking is, and we have world-class fundraiser on that committee, the thinking is that this can be done almost entirely through private donation, that the aerospace industry in Oklahoma City is so strong and would be so invested in seeing this brought up to the stature that it should be, that a new location and a brand new monument be built. Probably recasting the bronze so that it is not an issue for the next 150 years, assuming that it is maintained properly. So that is where we are right now. And
can I add one thing? Because also the granite, the base is falling apart. So it's not just a statue.
Right.
It's the whole thing. And then the park is totally overgrown, and the Parks Department has no budget to do anything about that available, or that's earmarked for that, let's put it that way. And then OG&E put a giant transformer right in front of the statue, between the statue and the street, which is also a bad thing. So just FYI, it's a little worse than just the monument.
Yes, thank you. There was all of that was talked about in the committee leading up to this final situation. So,
any questions or comments? I mean, yes, Commissioner Cooper, go for it.
Was the entire monument designed by Leonard McMurray, or only elements of it, the bronze casting designed by him? And, well, that's question one. I'll start there.
we don't know.
Because his name's attributed to it.
You would think that that would be an easy thing to find out, but we have not been able to find that out. I had a conversation with Michael Hoffner, who's very, very interested in the project from a preservation standpoint, and Michael said he thinks that it was designed by Leonard McMurray, but he has not come up with any information that says definitively that it is.
So you're talking about completely redesigning, basically commissioning a new monument to the Air Force because of their presence here in Oklahoma.
Yes.
That there, and because of the aerospace, that there is it's appropriate and it's a good thing for us to honor the Air Force because of its presence here.
Not only because of the presence here, but also because of the original intent of the monument, just to honor the Air Force and those who dedicated their lives to service of the country through the Air Force.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not questioning that. What are they going to do with the remnants? I mean, it sounds like there's no structural integrity to any element of what's there.
Well, there are other bronze elements that appear not to be in the deteriorated condition that the main sculpture is in.
Would those be incorporated into the new one?
Yes. So there is an eagle, and then there are bronze medallions. Also, there is the desire to retain and reuse in some way the historic elements, the plaques, the engraved granite, those kinds of things. Those would be intended to be used in the new monument to carry on that historical continuity.
So, and because we lack documentation and because they'll be changing so much of it, there will no longer be any attribution to Mr. McMurray.
Well, except that it is his design.
If you redesign it, it's not his design anymore.
I'm talking about the bronze work.
Yeah, the bronze.
The bronze.
Just.
No, it would be a new casting of his original design. He is the artist.
Okay, so you're going to, all that you talked about earlier, I wasn't sure which ones you were going with and which ones you were, if you're going to completely redesign it, but you're not. You are going to use a casting of the original and salvage other bronze elements.
Yes.
And
yes.
the remainder of the monument will be redesigned to incorporate those, or will they be redone in the same image?
redesigned is the preference.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I didn't make that clear. And just to underline that again, yes, the current bronze sculpture, a mold can be made of it, or a laser. I don't know exactly how it's done, but anyway, 3D model turned into a mold. It would be a new casting of the original work. No change in the bronze sculpture.
Oh, okay, okay. So the intention is to find a new location which has been identified but isn't being identified and named.
Yeah, we're not ready. We're not that far advanced yet.
And to raise funds, probably privately, because there's so much interest in the aerospace and the Air Force and all that. A lot of people who will be willing to support it and provide funds in order to recreate this monument, both in as close as they can, and the spirit of the monument as it exists now at the new location.
Yes, and with one added wrinkle. There's the desire on the part of all of the Air Force representatives, and especially the members of the cadet team, to expand this to also include the Space Force, which did not exist at the time of in 1963.
Okay, so to make it more current.
To make it more current. And if you look at the iconography of the original, it talks about, this great upward movement into space, not just limited to our atmosphere, but going beyond. So it would be a fulfillment, in some sense, of that original vision.
I see room for a great Rod Serling comment.
Commissioner Bailey.
This is kind of a procedural question, but would we be voting to move it, or would we vote to de-access it, and then you bring back forward a new piece with separately?
I think that the vote today, if there is a specific vote today, it could be to consider this, move forward with this, and then come back at a future meeting with all of these questions answered and with a specific location. So, yes, the original bronze work does not have to be destroyed in order for a new mold to be made. That is potentially a work of art that could go in the interior of a building and could survive for as long as the building does, as long as our society survives. So there is something of value there that should not just be destroyed.
Right.
But if it's going to be outside and we want it to last and be respectful, then the thinking is, several people said this, and Commissioner Nauser, you were there, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I will.
If we're going to do this, let's do it right the first time. Let's not do what was done in the past.
Right.
This was refurbished in 2004. By the time I was here in 2017, so that's 13 years, we were having discussions about how bad shape it was in.
And it was unsafe at that time too. I mean, beyond that, because of the falling pieces,
So we don't want to do that again. Mm-hmm. And we heard several people say that.
Yeah, that's correct. And Deborah did, just privately with some personal friends that are in the business, the aeronautics and aviation business, talked to them about would their companies be willing to donate to make sure that this monument to the Air Force was, fixed to the point where it was beautiful and would last, and they were very enthusiastic about it. And the Air and Space Force Association, they're changing their name too, they also were very happy to assist with the fundraising, with their membership. So, and they have done that before for other projects and done pretty well raising funds. So,
I think I am comfortable with the language of a relocation if that means that the new piece, because it is going to be a new piece, comes back to the commission, so that some of Commissioner Cooper's concerns about how the original artist is attributed in that, and what that looks like, what that new piece looks like, I think would be, I would want that to go through the same process that a new piece of art going into a city park would.
We concur with that.
Okay.
So are we going to move for specific action, or are we going to move for additional studies in line with, additional research?
I think it's more the latter, that you tell the Office of Arts and Cultural Affairs, continue down this road, come back with a proposal that can be acted upon.
I will make that motion.
I'd second that motion. A motion. Uh-oh, I'm going back to the 50 songs.
Yeah.
Second that motion.
I never caught that pun in the song. That's a pun, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
That's because I'm too old.
We have a motion and a second, and we're voting. And it passed. Okay, there are no items on the consent docket today, so we'll skip over that and go to Commissioner Ontiveros, who will give us an update on the cultural status of the Oklahoma City.
Thank you, Commissioner. Very quickly, I'm sure we're all ready to move on with our weekend here. So there's a series through the Arts Council, Oklahoma City. It's called Art Moves, and there's several different events happening here soon this month. Art Moves at the Museum of Art, Oklahoma City Museum of Art, featuring artist Jillian Strader on August 20th from 12 to 1. This is a live art demonstration and talk. Art Moves at West Village. This is a artist named Clarissa Sharp, a typewriter, poetry, and Seraphine Bird, a musician, on August 22nd from 6 to 8 for performance art, music, and community vibes. Art Moves at the BOK Plaza, featuring artist Rob Porter from August 27th from 12 to 1. And then Art Moves at the Lakes Senior Center, featuring Kendrick McKinley on August 28th, 12 to 1 p.m. So I would encourage everyone to look up these events, and hopefully you can make as many as you can. Oklahoma Contemporary Arts Center currently has a Oklahoma Comic Arts Festival scheduled for September 13th. This is Oklahoma's first event to merge a comic convention with an arts festival featuring guests, artists, workshops, and local creators. So that's going to be exciting. Finally, there is an immersive experience at Factory Obscura, Mixtape After Hours. It's OKC Story Slam on August 21st. Open Mic Night on September 4th. And Full Moon Yoga on September 7th. If you have not been to Factory Obscura, it is a fun place to be, and the artists are very, very talented there. So that is my report.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. And Randy, do you have an arts and cultural affairs update for us?
Very quick. You guys have been very patient. I want to show you two different things that have received national recognition. This work is titled River Run. It's in Oklahoma City by an Oklahoma City artist team, Chasm Manifold. In this particular manifestation, Chasm Manifold is Anton Morton and Nick Beer. I think they had some help. This is just one view of this particular work. I'm sorry I don't have more details to give you right now. It's on private property. It isn't anything that would have come before the Arts Commission. Anyway, it received an award of merit from Coda Works just recently. They announced the best public art in the United States in the past year. In its particular category, it won an award of merit. So congratulations to Anton and company for that.
The one you just showed is on the spillway near golf course, and the finish is recycled glass. It's been ground up and turned into essentially glass.
Wow, that's cool.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that further explication of it. Have you seen it in person? Great. I haven't gotten out to see it yet. What happened to our clicker is what I want to know. Why do I have this mouse that keeps on bedeviling me? Anyway, no, I got it now. This is Cloud Puncher by Brad Oldham and Christy Coltrane, and it is at the Oak Development at Pennsylvania Northwest Highway. This was named the best public work of art for the last year in the commercial category. Brad and Christy are Dallas area artists, really well known nationally. This particular work deserves its award. Once again, in looking at this is the ecosystem that has been created since the Arts Commission was established in 1980. You can take pride, we can all take pride in these things, even though they're not directly from our office. You had a part in making the city the kind of city where this kind of thing happens. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments that the commission members would like to make? Commissioner Cooper.
I wanted to add to the things coming up because they're going to take place, I think, before our next meeting. And that is on September 12th or 13th, whichever, I think the 12th, which is a Friday night. They're going to have Ballet Under the Stars, which is open to the public in Scissortail Park. Ballet is going to be putting on a presentation there, so that should be quite a bit of fun. And also on September 20th, the Philharmonic will be opening up its season with its classic performance.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see. No more public comments, or do we have any more public comments? We still have 2 members of the public. 3. Okay, then our meeting is adjourned. Thank you for hanging in there with us today.
Thank you.